Hello, everybody. Seems that I missed kind of important discussion in the bounty call, which had me thinking: do we have any kind of recaps from what are we doing in each bounty call, or a recording or something like that?
The legend is recording.
Just recording. What kind of recording?
Just visual recording, no type of text recap.
It's on carbon printed filament that's stored in a humidity resistant chamber.
Is it flammable?
It is highly flammable, and we pour gasoline over the records.
Okay. It's for disinfection. The gasoline is for disinfection. For the cockroaches.
The recaps clean.
They're actually on fire.
Where's that?
What's what?
Who's actually what?
They're on fire.
They're on fire constantly.
Yeah. Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why? Because Legend is doing it.
Yeah, Legend is doing it, and 2 out of 3, they have a chance of. There's a 25% chance that the recordings don't have a sound or something. It's like a random card on Snap. Okay, so how about we kick it off today with some light topics, which I'm certain are going to carry us through on the next call. I have that feeling, that premonition right now. So how about we start on we continue the validator discussion that we had last Tuesday. I don't think I see anyone voting on the nobody voted on the poll. Is that correct, Legend?
No, the poll, people are voting, but the poll is anonymous, so we don't see
what
people are voting.
Okay.
It's new technology.
What? My God! What is this sorcery? So it's gonna close in 1 hour from now.
Yes.
Legend.
Yeah, 1 hour from the start of the call. Yeah, at 2:30 UTC.
That's awesome. Okay. So, do you want us to continue discussing about that? Any thoughts? Any research that anyone did for selecting what's the most ideal or something? Validator, or do you want to go to the next topic and revisit this one as after the call, the poll ends?
In the Discord thread, the suggestions and recommendations are already closed, so that's why the poll is already open with the recommendations made in the topic itself. Archimedes already made a lot of suggestions in the spreadsheet, so. And those are the only ones as well, so I took them and made into a poll. And the poll is just to verify which one I'm gonna select after 1 hour from now on. So yeah, we can revisit the topic when the poll closes.
Okay, that's marvelous. So we don't have to discuss anything more.
Nope.
The voting ends, and we move forward with the on-chain vote. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's super. That's one task that has been resolved in less than 5 minutes in a DAO call. That's amazing. That's great progress. Okay, so curious to see what's going to be the result on this in the next hour. Shall we move forward with the next big topic? So the fact of the matter is, continuing our previous discussion, that there is that grape supply that needs to be allocated to the community, for one of the most prevailing reasons being that people need to start having more governance power, so that they can express their through their votes, and at the same time, people that already have enough grape, such as the X-Team members. They will not be forced to being muted, self-muted. that is, because I don't think that serves us any good. Not having that whole allocation from the Grape supply being distributed for a long time now, and at the same time we don't have members. Certain members cannot voice or express their opinions on this. So I think we should be striving to come up with a plan of a distribution that we can all agree as much as possible, and take it from there. What do you guys think?
I think I already said about this the last DAO call. I think these type of airdrops that Dean recommended in the Twitter. I think the only way to airdrop successfully, let's say, is by using Grape Art or any of our tools and giving them as locked Grape as a type of like locked governance power. So if there's any way to do it, I will vote for it. Aside from any other options, I don't think I will like them. I think by using our tools and giving like type of locked governance power is the way I kinda would vote for. Other people might have different ideas.
So this means that we need to build something in order to be able to move forward with any kind of distribution for the total of for a total of 80% of the grape supply. Is that correct?
I mean, let's say if the idea moves on, then yeah, we need to look out for the functionality. If there is not the functionality, then yeah, we need to build it. But of course, after the idea moves on.
Just to be clear, the idea here is to distribute the grape supply to in a way that includes the grape community. And there is also a tangent discussion about doing this in a shape of an airdrop with some bulk DNA in it, which means that we're going to be including other kind of groups or sub communities within the Solana ecosystem.
I didn't quite understand.
I mean, the discussion is not about giving out the emissions to the grape community, but the discussion is about giving out the grape emissions to the grape community and the greater Solana ecosystem.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of locking do you think are you thinking of, Archimedes? Grapes should not be given out to others as easily. That reminds me an Eddie Murphy joke. I think it was on Raw or Delirious. It was for sure. There was one of the two. When the guy tries to, to hook up with a girl, and she says, "Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet." So when is going to be? When are we going to make it a bit more easy for people to have more great governance? And I'm not saying that we distributed one off. We could use any kind of streams or something like that. But don't you think that existing users that govern? Yes. So this means that you don't think we should be moving forward with any kind of inclusion of the greater ecosystem.
I'll just jump up. Can you hear me? I'll just jump up and clarify. It might be easier for me to say this. I disagree with the notion of airdropping to random people across the ecosystem, spraying and praying that we find people that actually care about Grape the same way we saw the airdrop happen in the inception of Grape. I'm not saying the existing community members that have been here contributing don't deserve it. They definitely do. And if we are going to release Grape, it shouldn't just be willy-nilly, drop it all in their wallets and walk away and pray that everybody does what they should with those tokens. We as a DAO should probably come up with a method to release it under certain conditions so that it continues to inspire the type of activity and behavior that we want as a DAO from the individuals that we're giving it to. You don't just get your paycheck in the full year's salary at the beginning of the year and expect for the rest of the year to continue doing your job. That's all.
Hey guys,
Yeah, I
gonna
agree.
jump in. I agree with everybody. I think everyone is very aligned on a few key things. One, we should do something with the grape. So I think we're all aligned on that. And then the idea that we shouldn't just give it to people, that there should be different layers of qualification. I think we all agree on that too. I mean, I've been tweeting a lot about it lately. You know, like you can use a super team DAO member NFT, for example, as a qualification. Maybe it's not, you know, it shouldn't be as much grape as a grape holder, but I would like to see us, you know, looking at including people who aren't currently part of the grape community. Another great program to target would be Realms. Okay, let's airdrop some grape to active Realms users. You know, the most important people to have grape are people who would likely be aligned with the, you know, the way we operate and the way we kind of actively use governance. But one thing I would like to propose to help us to this point faster is, instead of us trying to, on these calls, share and brainstorm different points around how to optimally airdrop, I think the reality with a lot of these proposals and processes are that they happen almost in a singular kind of introduction, and then, you know, there's building upon it and poking on it. And if we're going to have that kind of more in-depth discussion, I think it has to happen asynchronously. You know, we really need to have deep discourse about this. And for that to happen, I think we need to have a deadline. So ultimately, what I'm throwing out there is that maybe on this call, we say to ourselves, okay, do we agree on the idea of a deadline? And if so, when? Would we be happy if we distributed the grape, you know, if we distributed no grape until 2025? I personally would think that was a failure. Would I think that we need to distribute it by next Sunday? I think that's maybe too soon. So anyway, I'll stop there. I think would be an interesting discussion topic for us is, should we have a timeline? Should we say, you know, by this date, these are all the submissions will have been given, and then we'll start voting on which submission, just like we did for, you know, reputation and whatnot. The difference for reputation is that, you know, we ended up voting for something, no implementation processes to be able to execute on it. So here I think, you know, as much as possible, we will have learned from that last vote and really focus on voting for plans that, you know, we know 100% sure are actionable. I mean, Taki, what do you think about that? Do you think it's productive for us to discuss a deadline? You know, do you think we should have a deadline?
Well, to be honest, it's my goal would ideally be that we have resolved this issue and be ready to take the steps to do it by the end of this month. So by the end of January, we should be able to have to come up with the list of groups of users, people, great members, what have you not, will be receiving and what they're going to be receiving. That's what I would ideally like us to do and reach on consensus.
Okay, so you're saying yes to a deadline, and you're saying by the end of the month. I'm gonna go ahead and say I also think yes to a deadline, but I think end of the month is very, very tight. Because we're also gonna need to vote on it. I'm hoping that this can inspire a lot of discussion. This can be an interesting topic, a lot of depth there. So I would say, let's say by the end of February, to have the exact, decision on, and I would say a minimum of, I think it's something like 50 million grape. Like it would be the amount we should have emitted by now to stay along our timeline. I think that that's a good minimum as far as how much grape we're looking to allocate, by, let's say, March.
I agree with all of this, but as Dean said, the hardest thing here is if the process itself is actionable. If it can be done. Like we can select these users from this, but if the grape doesn't get there by these means, I think it's not even possible, even if we do the deadline.
I do think that setting a deadline puts those things into focus and has us find answers to those problems faster, potentially. Knowing that we're coming up to something and saying that every week we need to have a status check to say that we've accomplished solving whatever those blockers are. I definitely think deadlines are useful and helpful in us getting and achieving tasks. So setting a deadline, whether or not we get to it or not, we could find problems along the way. Okay.
Yeah, but
we're saying
imagine
that no
do we
matter
have
what,
the technology to support? Like imagine if
right.
okay, we want to target builders or people who help Grape open source like commits and stuff. So how do you gonna give Grape to these people, to these builders who contributed to the Grape open source GitHub, for example? So let's say you want to reward these users, right? So how are you gonna do it? Let's say, even if you have a
What's the
deadline, like what's the let's say let's say this code, we are limited by the technology of our time. So even with like this deadline and the list of the people, what the most important thing is it's the process. Like if you don't have a way of to give out to these people, there's no point
Right.
of having these two before.
Right. And I would venture to say that the answer, we had started these conversations and a lot of these discussions were happening before the year ended. The VSR, the locking mechanisms that we were talking about that Mango may have provided the ability to do in Realms, the stream flow, there are different tools that I think this discussion needs to align on. And I think as far as a deadline is concerned, I don't disagree with us putting it in a manner which, by March we have an answer. So I'd venture a guess to say, I think 2 months is enough time to discuss those things and figure it out. And we reevaluate later. So March 31st being the deadline, let's say. And so we put ourselves in a position where we have to answer those questions. And if we find that we can't answer those questions, then we find our blocker there, not in every discussion that we have that we keep discussing it philosophically, because I'm a victim of that problem myself.
Right. So we have the topic, right? We have the deadline, should be end of February, March, right? What's next? The list of people. So that's something we should discuss Tuesday, for example, right? If we move on with this.
It sounds like there are 3 things we need to figure out. How are we distributing it in terms of where it goes? How it gets controlled and or locked. Does it get locked or doesn't it get locked? And how does it get locked? And how do we choose those people? And what are those people? What are the qualifiers? And how do they get it? Right? What do they have to do in order to get it? Or have they already done it? That's it. 3 things.
Kinda around it, but yeah. 3 to 5, let's say.
Yeah, I'm just trying to simplify because I'm the master of making things more complicated.
I think this whole discussion will be affected greatly by the tools that we have at our disposal right now. In my opinion, we shouldn't be looking for, like you said, Legend, to be arranging or discussing or spending any time or energy in reaching out to any conclusions that we cannot implement or take actionable steps in the way that we want. So what are the tools that they can help us right now to, one, identify the groups or create the list of these groups, and two, what are kind of tools do we have to send out the grape in not a simple transaction, or let's say in a stream, or lock it through VSR or something like that. So what are those tools that they exist right now today we can use and utilize to make this happen? Because that's gonna, I think, affect our decision and will steer the discussion in a more practical oriented way.
Yeah. I think there's the easy way. We can create wallets as a DAO where we distribute the grape we're talking about and delegate through realms and control that as a DAO through voting. But there will be individual executors. Without talking about anything more advanced. No mango lockers, no stream flows, no nothing. Right? We could create wallets that we distribute the grape to, and each wallet is aligned with each individual that we're talking about, and we delegate it to their wallet in realms. Easy. Time consuming, but easy.
Can you say that once more? I didn't quite get that.
Imagine you want to give me the grape, right? We as a DAO go and create a wallet that we put the grape I deserve in that wallet, and then delegate the grape in that wallet through realms to me, to whatever wallet I'm using in realms. And I can control that grape. I don't have access to it to do anything with it other than vote.
That's like forcing people into voting for in the grape realms. It's not something that people can use.
Where else would they use the grape? Sorry, it's like a philosophical question of mine. It's like the only place that we use grape today is sub-DAO tokens and governance, right? Those are the only 2 places that they're required or needed.
Okay, so if someone, the example you just used, if someone wants to make a sub-DAO token or purchase a sub-DAO token, a social token, whatever, how can they use the grape if we do it that way? They can't.
We can take a portion of whatever's in that wallet and release it to them after the end of the year. Every year, a certain portion of whatever's in that wallet can be released out to them. They can we can put it in their wallet and they can control it. There's your locking mechanism. Just an idea. It's operationally capable of happening. That's all I'm saying. It's like any one of us could do that today. No need for advanced features.
The wallet? Who keeps the seed phrase?
That's a great question. I was thinking it could be, I don't know, squads is the right place, but you could create a realms with multiple treasuries and, delegate each one to each user. I guess maybe the list of users might be important. If we're talking about thousands, yeah, maybe it's untenable. But if we're talking about a couple hundred at most, you could do it that way. I'm just coming up with a solution. It's possible to do this. And the DAO dictates how it gets distributed. It gets distributed. It gets accessible for the specific purposes that it needs to be used. And that's it. But it is an operational task that needs somebody to upkeep. Anyway, we don't have to do that. I'm just saying we could solve our problem that way. The beauty of decentralization. Unfortunately, it gets centralized into whatever the DAO decides, but we could do that.
Sounds interesting enough for me, at least.
Or just find the list of users and let's, blow the lid off this ice cream can and let it sit out there and melt at whatever capacity, or whoever wants to put it and refrigerate it, go ahead. Keep it, use it, don't use it, who cares? We could do it that way, blindly, and just let decentralization do its thing. The only risk factor is having enough grape out there that gets reduced in price enough so that somebody can come and buy up more than the amount of effort that people put in to get it in the first place. That's the only negative, the downside of distributing grape without thinking all these things through.
My approach would be to identify groups starting from the top, and top meaning the people that are going to get the most of grape. And we're going to start with the more hardcore grapers, people that are on realms, people that are on the intervals, people that have received a mission, something like that. We identify that close group, and then we move downwards by being more relaxed in the criteria. And eventually we have a group that's users of the greater Solana ecosystem. That I don't know how we do it. I think there's a tool in that the Foxes have made to make mass distribution of tokens, but that's how I would do it personally. That's the whole purpose to create some hype, to create some engagement, because even though I do see merit in the idea of streaming grape slower rather than sending them outright. If we do stream them in 2-3 years, who's going to bother in doing something with that other than instantly take it and sell it? So the majority of the grape that we're going to emit is going to be to people that have we can count, assume that they're not going to be, they're going to do something with that grape.
Right.
That's where the bulk of that supply should go. And moving down the ladder, it's going to be much relaxed criteria and much more open groups of people that, they might sell it, but they might do something with it as well.
Yeah, I like that approach. I think it's just a matter of fleshing out the requirements criteria. I think you're onto something. Definitely.
Yeah. So if we're talking about 50 million, let's say that the 30 million is going to go to the most hardcore grapers and the most hardcore members of the community, and then the remaining 20 we distribute it in. I don't know. I'm just talking very roughly right now. 2-3 remaining groups, something like that.
I think that's fair. I'm not sure about the percentages, but I like the way you're framing it, and I also like the logic that you're putting into it. To me, it makes sense. Very nice.
So, is there anyone opposed in putting a deadline, and the deadline being end of February, I think, to decide what, how, where are we going to distribute 50 million grape? Is that something that anyone opposes? Anyone has any different thoughts?
I would say give us one more month. Give us March 31st. That would be my only suggestion. I agree with the deadline. I agree with the fact that we need to have it shorter and sweeter as possible, but it sounds like we have some work to do to get answers on things like Ryder just pointed something out that I think is useful. Do we want to reward grape art users? We don't know which users they are just yet, and we need to find the answer to that and whether or not we can even solve that problem. But yeah, you know, if everybody agrees on February, fine. But I would just recommend would give us 30 days more, since there are proposals, discussions, documentation, all this stuff that needs to happen.
If we can
Maybe
figure
an
out the
additional-
users, maybe the collections at least. We don't have access to the users.
Maybe 1 or 2 additional milestone calls or something like that. Like
Yeah.
if we extend the period, we should do that, I think.
Agreed. I
Milestones.
I agree
I
with you.
love milestones.
Mile seeds, grape seeds, mile seeds. So to answer the point, yes to a deadline, and recommendation to add one more time period to figure this stuff out and make sure that it's executable. And I think a lot of the recommendations that have come up here are great. Yeah. Yeah, March 15th, I think the idea of a quarter, finishing out the quarter is a good idea. I think Dougie and Dynite, thank you for putting that suggestion as well. Anybody in the audience disagree or have any opinions about this that go contrary to anything that we're saying? Or I'm assuming silence means acceptance for the most part, with the exception of some of the details that need to be fleshed out.
Yeah, I think we got a direction we can go.
I mean, if people are not speaking now or not texting, we can just open a poll and give February, March, or any date as an option, and let the DAO members vote.
Good idea.
If they're not vocal enough.
Good
here
idea,
in the
Poll
DAO.
Master. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it, Poll Master. Poll Master Flex.
So the option will be February, end of February, end of March, and end of the first quarter, right?
Yeah. February, March, and if there's any other, let somebody put it in the comments.
And the poll will have to finish today, so this topic can be talked again this Tuesday. So we can decide a deadline today, end of the day, and we proceed with the idea like this week already, starting Tuesday. All right, good enough.
Any objection to having this written up as a discourse that just recaps what we're talking about here as a discussion topic for review and discourse for anybody that's missing these calls, in case they're wondering what the hell we're talking about in a month?
Sounds good, you joker.
I've been working on my my Joker laugh, just in case I get a call from Warner Brothers. Jules asking if there's a minimum to listen to the call. I'm under the impression we only need one grape to be verified in the server. Am I wrong about that? Did we? Maybe I
Yeah.
missed an episode.
For the basic, you can access the server at just one grape.
Yeah, so one wallet verified in the Grape server and one Grape token in that wallet when you verify should be enough to participate in these calls as a DAO project or whatever that is.
Not exactly. If you want to come up on stage and talk, you have to be a DAO member.
Correct. Sorry, I was referring to listening because Jewel was asking what's the minimum to listen in on the call. You only need one grape to get to this channel to see it and to get in and listen, as far as I'm aware. And Jewel is not here, so I'm assuming no grape.
He has the prospect role.
And he's here.
In the audience?
Yeah, he is
Mine-
in the audience.
Oh, now he is. He wasn't when I was saying it a couple of minutes ago.
Okay. Taki, would you like to proceed with the agenda?
Yes, of course. Next topic are my proposals, unclaimed tasks, and a small update on what has been happening the past week. 1 second. In terms of updates, community management group consisting of me, Legend, and Dynite. We had a call to organize to see how we're going to proceed with community management, any kind of activities, and so on and so forth. We're going to try to focus on creating some kind of events. A classic example is poker. We're going to try to have some kind of poker events. And also, Dynite also gained access to the Grape Twitter, so you can start tweeting and helping keeping the account a bit more alive. Of course, we have the Twitter bot, so I think it's for DAO members only. Yeah.
Yes.
Any DAO
Yes.
member can write on the Twitter bot and propose any tweets and what we publish from the account and what we post from the account. We also had a great call with the gaming council this week. And the whole goal with the gaming council is that we're going to try to position Grape as the go-to community for Solana gaming. We're looking to games that we can actually use in terms of what kind of assets do we need to own, what kind of assets we own, and how we can utilize those to attract people that want to play games. And I'm also speaking to Barndog. He's very keen in organizing some live AMAs or talks or interviews, let's say, with some gaming projects. This is very exciting. The whole goal here is, to attract people that are interested in gaming, and ideally find some kind of solution, some kind of formulas that we can use and operate under for lending out our assets to community members so that they can enjoy these games and maybe earn something. And of course, the DAO earned something along the way on this. We're still in the very early stages of this planning, but I think that's something that we should definitely be eyeing, because there's a lot of progress that's being made and coming in the near future on gaming. And I think we're positioned as a community in a great place to do great there and attract new members and possibly have some kind of small revenues eventually. There's just going to be some synergies with the NFT Council. And speaking of the NFT Council, Perch is working on a list and a report of the activities of the NFT Council, the recent activity. They have been doing great. In case that any of you might not know, they're true degens, and they are trading Sol NFTs in a great way, increasing the value of the treasury. And I also want to see his report and see how we can work more there and how they can cooperate and collaborate with the Gaming Council. After that, I posted a message on the DAO channel about other tasks that have not been claimed yet, even though I had mentioned some people that I would like them to take them on. I haven't got any update from some of those people, so I would really like to know whether you want to participate or not. Otherwise, these tasks can be claimed by other members. Just to be more specific on this, we have the marketing roadmap by Jaris, which we're waiting for him to see his plans, what he's planning to do in terms of marketing. Documentation is CryptoPose, and Legend will be assisting on the formats and the layout there. I would really love Archimedes to handle any kind of metrics that we can use and start having a more complete view of what we're doing and how we're doing it and what we need to improve. Same goes with Ride and Red about the bounty department, let's say, the bounty group. And finally, Potrock for reputation, UX workshop, and so on and so forth. So I would really like to know from the guys that are present in this call whether you intend to take anything of this task on, and if we have any, and if not, if we have any volunteers for any of the tasks discussed.
You mentioned quite a lot. So which are the open tasks you're looking for?
The open tasks are documentation, metrics, and reputation, UX, and workshops. And I would hope that Ride and Red, you are on board in continuing what you're doing with the bounty group. But I would really like to have a call with you so we can discuss some approaches on how to move forward with the bounties in general. And that ties in with what I caught, a glimpse of the discussion I caught on the tail end of the bounty call today.
Yeah, sure. Let's set up a call next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, it works for me, the documentation.
That's perfect.
Archimedes wrote in chat that he will continue doing metrics. And concerning reputation and UX, the document Danet posted mentions Potrock. Do you need another person for this task?
Well, the discussion has been on for, I don't know, since mid-December. I haven't seen Potrock, reacting on any of these discussions. I can understand that there's the holidays have been in the way, but I would really like for something there to be either scheduled or happen next week.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you either need someone who is skilled in that kind of field for design and UX, or you need someone who can do it like intuitively. And for intuition for keeping it simple stupid. Mr. Dynite, the goat, is very talented, as we all know. So maybe you
Sorry,
could.
I was just cutting up on the live chat. You were saying?
Maybe you could have a talk with Dynite if he wants to replace Podrock on reputation and UX if Podrock is MIA.
Look, the whole reputation and UX, if it doesn't revolve on our reputation and UX, because UX is the way I see it quite entangled with our product, and since we have CryptoPost taking point on organizing some product-oriented and product-focused calls, I would really like and love to see the discussion there and see what we can come up with in terms of UX. And I would also reach out to Portok personally and give him a deadline in the next 2 days to see if he's willing to do something. Otherwise, we're going to see if anyone else is interested in doing any kind of workshops, either on reputation or on something else, if the proposal is great enough. Is there anyone in the audience here that's interested in doing any kind of workshops during the next 4 weeks?
What kind of workshop?
We could do any kind of workshops. We could do workshops on steering us in a better direction besides reputation. I mean, steering us in a better direction of understanding what we're doing and how we're doing as a community, and maybe help us flesh out our any moving steps or paint a clearer picture on where we're spending our energy, our resources, and what we're getting back as a result. That kind of stuff is what I'm thinking. Unless there's any better idea, anything interesting, but I really think it would be a nice addition to have some specific calls to work on something as a group. Do you have anything in mind, Dean?
I think there's a few ideas. Yeah, let me propose a few to you. I'll do it later.
Hi, Darcy. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello, Shujal. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, hi. Happy New Year to everyone. So good to be back here. I was little sick, but it's so good to see everyone. So, two things. One is that I wanted to tell everyone I had already shared in our group chat for the podcast thing that I've got the videos edited. They've come out really well. So we will need some distribution, help from everyone so that everyone can share and the conversations have come out really good. So I believe that is going to play a really good role in getting more people to understand about Grape. right? So that is one. Second is, Saki, I think this is a great idea. I think we should definitely do workshops because recently, I don't know, like we also, like, one of the things that was an event we organized and some from our team organized a roundtable, and we realized that, two, three things that have coming up again and again is like, obviously one is operations of the DAO and the second is governance. So I think we can definitely, have a section and break down topics and have workshops around that. So, it just helps to reorganize and in the sense like, make us also reflect at what is that we're seeing on what you on that can be done better and things that we can, start with and try. So we can, like, I am totally down for it. I think that's a great way to also engage members, and we can also keep some sort of like, reward sort of a thing because a lot of times
Sejal,
people
I don't
don't
know
turn
about
up.
the others, but you're breaking up, so I can't really understand what you're saying. You're kind of breaking up. I don't know if it's me, if it's for the others as well.
Yeah, I can't either.
Oh, is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was just saying that workshop is, I think that's a great idea because it will help us also like brainstorm around a lot of different and important things, be it governance, be it operations of the DAO, and it will also help us involve a lot of people. So I think we can definitely sit down and maybe choose two, three things apart from repetition, right? And do workshop. We can do it virtual, and if all goes well, then maybe later on we can see, what can be done in person. But this is a great idea. Like we can sit together and of course give it more structure. I'm trying to say that, I'd be happy. Uh, I'll be happy to, take that up with whoever is taking it up.
So if I understood correctly, you would like to propose something as far as the workshops are concerned. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's awesome. Looking forward to what are you thinking of working on. Excellent news. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Taki. Like we can definitely, I will also separately connect with you to make sure that, whatever we pick up is something that is super relevant and, we want to go towards that direction, and then the format of it and what is that we can expect out of it. Because I think it is super important that we ensure that, something tangible is coming out of it, right? That is one. And second, how do we get everyone interested in it, right? All those things can be figured out. And, you know, we can together decide, what on. I have some ideas, and we can, like separately discuss that. But that's a great idea.
That's awesome. Looking forward to see your proposal, and we can all discuss this and see what we can do in the best way possible.
Got it. And the second thing that I wanted to discuss here is, like I said before, we've got the Great podcast, Dean's List podcast edited, which is powered by Great Wow. Right? We had recorded 3 episodes. I had shared in the podcast chat, but I just wanted to share with everyone that, we'll be needing some help with the distribution. And the second thing that I had in mind is that the name of the podcast is Dean's List, right? And which is powered by. So I was just, a little bit confused between should we put it up on the, YouTube channel of Grape or Dean's? We can create a channel of, Dean's List. I mean, I know this is Grape now call, but I thought I'll just bring this up because, the videos and everything is ready, and then I can accordingly post it. So, do you love your suggestions and ideas, and then maybe we can, see how to go about it.
Yeah, let's discuss this on the chat. I haven't even had the time to check out the video and see what's the best way and platform to communicate these, because I'm not sure this
Yeah.
is something that we should be discussing in the call, in the DAO call right now. I think at least.
So,
Okay, that's awesome. Now, from the tasks and that I mentioned, what about marketing, Jaris? What's up? What's happening with marketing?
I think Jarvis is not here.
He was here, but he left.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
he's not here now.
That's true. Okay. Hopefully he's okay. Really looking forward to his marketing roadmap and see what comes up from there. Okay. Any other topics that anyone wants to discuss? Something that you have in mind? We covered a lot today.
We will in 2 minutes. In a few minutes, I will be closing the poll on which validator we should delegate the 2030 plus soul. And we could put on chain the transaction to delegate.
Is it going to be a council vote or a community call? A community vote, sorry.
That would be a community vote, like a normal on-chain proposal, right?
Yes.
I think so too, yeah.
And thanks again for Archimedes for doing the for getting the tokens or the soul.
No problem. Billy actually followed up shortly after the initial council proposal I put forward after it passed, and he went and created the next one, which was to withdraw the stake as well.
Yeah,
so
saw that.
Yep. So
my guilder notified me.
We all love Gator.
Also, weren't we gonna talk about the Solana Saga phone and the committed DAO members that will receive it today?
You have a very great point, Legend. I missed it. I deeply apologize. One clarification for the Saga phones is that these phones that are available right now are the dev kit ones. So these are addressed to developers. They're not the mass production ones yet.
Are they functional? Even being dev kits.
I'm not sure what they have. From my experience, I know they have some feature that might not be working. I'm not really sure, but I know for from Solana that's what that's what the intention for them is. So to give them out to developers to start working on applications before the mass production one. So some things might not be functioning the way they should.
Yeah, we still need to think about some criteria that we want to use for who will receive a phone. We have the list, and I saw that being mentioned in the DAO chat. Get me the link. Let me get the link. We have an initial list on Discourse, but there are also members who aren't with us anymore, or let's say they might be with us, but not within Grape. So
They have passed on. They have moved on from Grape. Can
Yeah.
you please paste the list of these 33 people here in the chat?
Yeah, give me a sec. So here is the Discourse link. And yeah, the list needs to be updated. So, and it was meant, or it is a preliminary list that, and the proposal said as much, will change until the point where the phones are available. So, and right now we use Neanderthal as a prerequisite for being not necessarily on the list, but for getting a phone. So yeah, we need to figure out what in the end, or who in the end, or what criteria we want to use for people to get the phone.
So the on-chain vote, what we put for an on-chain vote was that people should be basically Neanderthals. Is that correct?
Yeah, right now it's the only criteria, and the vote has been done that this is something that is a minimum requirement. And we also said that if the the token amount for being Neanderthal would change, this would also apply. So this is the only thing we nailed down with the initial proposal, but we also said that we want to have additional criteria. So we never specified what we would say is an active member.
Is it even worth to order them now? Because if it's a
I
dead
don't think
kit,
so.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
worth. I mean,
No.
I see the value maybe getting one or two actually for Dean's list to review maybe, so we can review apps and stuff and projects.
Yeah, but I think that's a
But
different.
yeah, it's a different
Yeah.
talk. But for a
Yeah.
for a normal DAO member to be using it at the moment, I don't think so.
Yeah. It's not a pressing matter, I think, but again, it's something we need to keep in mind and not being
something to be
surprised by when the time comes. So
I also posted the results of the poll of the validator in the DAO channel and the live chat channel, so we can proceed with the winning validator, let's say. So any Neanderthal that has the DAO member role, or let's say that any DAO member that isn't a Neanderthal can proceed with
Can
the
I
on-chain
can
proposal.
I throw this out there? I posted about this poll and the discussion that we have in the DAO about choosing a new validator to stake our soul on, and a comment that was mentioned more than once was that why not choose more than one? So maybe is it worth examining if we want to, you know, let's say stake on the top two, on the top or the top three or something for that diversification,
Let's
and
take
touch
up
upon in more validators and around Solana.
Yeah, I'm not so knowledgeable about delegating into validator. Archimedes will
No, no,
know more.
this means two different proposals. One for, let's say, if we go with two validators, one
Right.
proposal would we have the amount to that validator to lane, which is a clear win, not a clear, the winner borderline. And if we choose another one, which is going to be cogent.
Yeah, I agree. I think splitting it across two of them, we can create two different proposals. I think Lane and Cogent were both above 25% of the votes. So I'm for it. And I like the idea of us having it split across two different groups so that if we need to stake on stake or use some of the soul for other reasons or there's an emergency, it's good for diversification. It's also good for operational execution. Because this whole process is all the soul or none of the soul every single time.
Is there any con for splitting the soul?
I posted
Not that I can think of, no.
I posted an image or a snap from the last poll we did on validators in general. So we asked that initially, and people said no, but like it's 1%. So yes, equally for two also has merit, I think. So we can make this proposal. It's like,
I mean, not to be a nitpicker here, but yes has three different portions that if you add up total.
I know. So
don't shoot me. Don't do it.
No. We made those polls, and I totally agree. We made those polls in order to get an idea of what people want. So I'm just saying that like
it's
39 versus 38. So I think splitting equally is also something the community supports.
And thank you for putting that poll because I think that very quickly helped us answer a question that probably would have taken another week.
Are there any objections in moving forward with two different proposals and stake with the two top voted validators in this poll? Make it so, Captain
yes,
Kirk.
make it so.
Yeah, we could do like two proposals simultaneously. So like with Lane and Cogent equally split. And if people don't want to like split it, they can vote for the validator they want, yes, and no for the other. So like there's always an option. And if the second proposal doesn't go through, then we need to decide whether people just don't want to spend the amount or if they want to have it all in one validator. It's just an idea, so to do it faster.
Yeah, I think two votes at the same time works. Hopefully, we don't have enough members to vote down one of the two proposals. and then go back in the discussion. Personally, that's what I hope. Dean, Solana said that the dev ones, the dev kits, are the ones that they have available right now. Did they, by any chance, do we know any kind of timeline for the mass production ones? I don't know anything about when they are
Yeah,
coming.
they haven't
but
said
I'm not
anything about that. They haven't said anything about it. They just said that this is for the, like, that's what they want to know now. Like, how many do we need of those?
Do you need to pay for the dev kits for these ones?
I assume so.
Just asking.
Then there's also the issue of the NFTs. I think it's safe to ask
I'm
them
trying to
to
get those. I'm trying to get those sent to the DAO directly, and then that we allocate the NFTs later. And Sebastian supports it, so I'm just waiting for the Solana mobile team to respond. But that's what we're asking for, is to have it just sent to the DAO wallet, or maybe we make a squads, but most likely it'll go to the DAO wallet.
That's awesome.
This should be great marketing. Just saying. Great in a tweet.
Solana at Solana Mobile.
No, more like
We got
Grape DAO redistributes NFT Saga Pass to its DAO members through realms. Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's get those passes first.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because I'm also like, I said, we're missing out on snapshots and all these airdrops, and that's why Sebastian was like, well, maybe you want to do squads instead. Yeah.
Or are there snapshots and airdrops to people with these Saga tokens?
There have been some kind of airdrop, some kind of perks. There has been a campaign with Solana Spaces. We're truly missing out on.
It's worth it for us to, try to get that resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, because well, we got like 50 passes, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like,
maybe we should
it's
get quite a few
substantial.
airdrops for that.
Yeah, it's very
substantial. Yeah.
So this means that when we get the passes, if we want to start distributing them and start, getting the perks that come with the passes, we need to finalize the list, regardless of when the mass production phones are coming. Because if you have the NFT, you have the phone. Yeah, at least that's my understanding. Unless we become the first instance on Solana that people get an NFT, but they don't get the phone.
No, you still have to buy the phone. This is just the pre-purchase.
So yeah, we're paying for we have paid actually for the deposit. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've put the pre-purchase in. Yeah, so that's what the NFT represents. I don't believe you can claim. I don't think you actually get a phone just with that NFT. I think with the NFT, it just is like, okay, you've done the pre-purchase. And our proposal was that we were going to buy the phones.
Yeah, we're going to buy the phones, and the proposal also said that if anyone doesn't meet the criteria but was on the list, they can keep that. Basically, we pay for the for that deposit for them, and they put in the remaining amount to get the phone. Is that correct? That's what I read today again.
Yeah, I guess it does warrant us to like refine what was written quite a while ago.
Yeah. We made it because we didn't know how the actual process would look like.
I think in terms of handling the list, we should start. We should finish with that list as soon as we can, because if by any chance we decide that any portion of these phones goes, to some kind of other criteria, like outside being a Neanderthal, receiving an emission, or if you need to have to click both these boxes, it's going to be good for engagement, I think.
Yeah.
I need to think this through a bit more.
Dynite made some suggestions in the discourse thread, and I think we should if people have ideas on what could be good criteria, I think collecting them there is a good step.
Dynite, how are you going to evaluate the attendance for the DAO calls? Since when and how?
What do you qualify as attendance? Like showing up at the hour, or like showing up the whole call?
Dynite, I think you posted somewhere on grape.art. That's cool.
Roll
The
call.
only usable attendance checking we have is for bounty fund owners on bounty calls.
I mean, you can do attendance via the recordings. That the thing is very, gotta spend a lot of time like picking and watching who attended or not, like doing manually.
Can
What's attendance? If I click in and out of the call, do I count as attendance?
Yeah,
If I
that's
stay
what I
for half
said
an
before.
hour,
What will be classified as attendance?
I think we should collect some ideas because
It's still better than
discussing
nothing,
them
right?
later. Yeah, so like a softer metric would be like showing up. Like if you're a Neanderthal and you showed up for the DAO calls, fine. Whether you participated in discussion is another thing, but we can if we collect some ideas, then we get, I think, maybe 2 or 3 criteria out of it, and yeah, I think we should collect first and then talk about it.
Quick idea, because there are people who are chatting versus talking. So taking a snapshot video, picture-wise, randomly at the beginning, snapshot randomly in the middle, snapshot randomly at the end. You could take images, you could put them in Google Images, and you can convert them to docs, which end up showing you the words, which would capture all the usernames of everybody that's on the call. So you could do the attendance. It's wonky, but it could work. Or we make a bounty that tracks attendance of Discord calls.
What?
Now people are waking up. Good work,
Yeah,
Archimedes.
everybody's like, oh no, oh no. I like ideas.
I seen the live chat. Vacation is reapplying for
yeah,
DAO role. So
I was about to say that.
okay.
I was about to say that. So, which brings us to a great question. How does one qualify as a DAO member, given our current documentation and where we are right now as a community? We know that they have to be at least prospect. What else is the requirement?
So the old type of being a DAO member role will be through the DAO application type of Google form we had before. which is
Yeah, we've abolished that like I
yeah,
don't know, half a year ago.
and that documentation as it is, it says these three requirements. Okay, the Class A member being the prospect role. Now,
I see a vacation is also a Neanderthal. Not that it should matter.
it actually matters a lot since she or he can bring up proposals on chain wherever he wants, and if it votes, it counts for the proposal to pass or not, to be executed or not. So
Yeah,
being
that's
an
super
Neanderthal and a
valuable.
DAO role, it's a
It's a good
plus.
combo,
It's a good combo.
but it means that if these are the only criteria, this means that you can buy your way into a DAO member. We've had this discussion like a year ago.
Yeah, but do you remember who was the last DAO member who been added to the DAO? It was Sejal, right? But
Yeah,
Sejal was a different type of addition, because one of the requirements said must bring willing to bring value to the Grape community. So when Sejal came, she did it by doing the Grape handbook on the bounty side of things, and she was willing also to be a DAO member. So back to the
Great.
topic.
why don't we ask Vacation Soul? What do you think what do you want to become a DAO member on Grape? Can you hear us? You want to come up and tell us why? There you go.
Ranjan, what are you sharing? What link is that?
Hey, thanks for the invite up here. Is this a good time to speak?
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm interested in Solana. It's my favorite chain, and I've been around the Grape community for a while. I had a period of inactivity, so I definitely don't hold any bad feelings about having the role removed, because I know you guys have been doing a lot of work organizing things, but I wanted to participate in votes a little more. And yeah, like you can check my history, and I've been around mostly on the NFT side for a while.
That's awesome, and thank you for sticking around with us. I personally have seen you in the chat.
Yeah, it's awesome
So
to have you, Vacation. I'm glad you came on stage and introduced yourself.
Yeah, that cannot be understated because that counts.
Thank you.
It's not easy.
Since not all the DAO members are here in the call, the next step will be doing a poll on the DAO channel to vote if Vacation becomes a DAO member or not, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm saying that's how we're gonna do it.
For what it's worth, I remember Vacation, and I remember seeing Vacation for numerous times in the past, and I know that there's been a gap. So I would venture a guess that on the next DAO call, we evaluate and say whether or not, I think give us some time to look at activity, and on the next DAO call, we have that discussion. But I would definitely consider a candidate if Vacation meets the requirements for holding Grape and all the other stuff.
Vacation. What do you love the most about the Grape DAO, and what do you hate the most? And what would you like to see change in the Grape DAO?
I like it because I feel like it's kind of like a home-based community for a lot of the Solana ecosystem. Like the kind of the NFT alpha type of channel, and also the crypto alpha channel's been pretty good, but it's been my connection into a lot of other communities, following people around. Like, I don't know if people have seen like Tex around or some other people that get into some degen stuff. So there's been a lot of like kind of just cool project discovery stuff by following people on Grape, and I think there's a lot of value of that for community members.
If I may be so bold to ask, without going into too much detail, because I'm not looking to, ask about your personal life, but what background do you have? Do you have any development experience? Is there any marketing, anything that you would want to tout as a skill or something that you think, could be of use in the future? Or is it crypto aficionado?
Compared to most people here, I would say if aficionado and enjoyer would be the better way to put it. Like, I do have some developer experience, but it's not the same domain.
Okay. Useful. Good to know. Thank you for sharing.
Well, thanks for all your attention, and if you wanted to get to it next week or whatever you want to do, it's all good.
Yeah, just to be fair, I would give the opportunity to the DAO to evaluate and look at activity and make sure that we give you a fair view, and it's not on the spot right now. And we come to a conclusion that's against the other facts.
Well, thanks a lot.
I just want to point out, kudos to you for coming up on stage, and thank you for being here. And I think your reapplication, applying again, brings forward a very important issue that we need to clarify: how to become a Grape member, a Grape DAO member. And once again, thank you for coming up and reminding us of this is something that we should have in mind and define as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Really, really positive and great to hear your voice and great to have you back. Also noticing another new face that maybe I hadn't noticed before, but I won't call anybody else out. But great to see some of the people on the call now. Really pumped for 2023. Yeah, be bonked.
I think that's everything for today's call. Some topics need to be reviewed, like Sagaphone's eligible list. Also, these new DAO member application should be also reviewed, and we should make a process. And for last, for the splitting of the soul through two validators.
Yep, I'm going to check to see the withdrawal happen, and then on Tuesday I'll reconfirm the next proposals for allocating to the other validators.
Sure. I mean, at any point, any Neanderthal could delegate on his own to which validator he likes, but
Sure. I'm just saying so that somebody does it, because we could wait until next week and find out no one actually pushed.
yeah, the sooner the better, at least for the
Yeah.
staking the soul at least.
Yep. I know the execution has happened on the withdrawal. The initial proposal, by the way, the council proposal, For everybody's awareness, decimal amounts are not possible in execution of a proposal. So when we created the withdrawal proposal, it had decimal amounts to get the specific amounts out. So we managed to get the 2030, but there's still like 0.5 sol that needs to be claimed, and we'll have to send a separate proposal in order to get anything below 1 sol.
That's
back out.
crazy. But
I know.
thanks for the intel.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
Yeah, and I was executing the withdrawal proposal and it was failing, and I'm like, oh no, great. but it looks like it went through. I'm gonna check to see that the wallet actually gets the sol back, and once we confirm everything's where it needs to be, then by Tuesday we'll have those 2 proposals in place for Lane and for Cogent to stake evenly amongst both of them. 1,015 sol each.
Regarding that, we had more than the 2,000 available, right? So, let me check. Because initially we made the swap on
Right.
Mango, and
Right.
we have also some sol in a different wallet, and also on squads, if I remember correctly. So maybe we use them, those sol too. I'm not sure.
Sure. I mean, for the sake of consistency, we can start with what we have now, and we can have that.
Yeah, we can later add it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we can add
Yeah.
that.
Makes sense.
Yep, but I like where you're going with it though, because I think the APRs and the APYs and supporting the validators is a good initiative in general.
Okay, guys, good talk. I gotta go. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, or evening.
Yeah. Enjoy. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Bye.